Miami Stretch Therapy here in Miami, Florida, and I'm here to talk to you today about foam rolling. Specifically today we're going to cover foam rolling the calves and the tibialis anterior on the front of the shin. And we're going to do that because I've met a lot of people who have issues with circulation in the lower body, and actually a lot of different diseases can develop if you do not have proper circulation in your lower limb. This video will be good for people who have diabetes, people who are very tight down here, athletes, anybody who has any issue with their toes, their ankles, their shins. This can even help knees. Hi, Kizzy. This is our newest addition to our Miami Stretch Therapy family, Kizzy. And our other assistant over here is Little Miss. And so they'll be hanging out while we do this video together, if you don't mind. So let's go ahead and get started. In this video, we'll need 4 items. Well, actually 5. We'll need 2 balls of 2 different strengths. We'll need a softball. I prefer a pinky ball. This is about a 2.5-inch ball. You can find it, I picked it up at my local supermarket. You can pick it up on Amazon if you like. I'll provide a link below for you to take a look. And this is just your average standard lacrosse ball. Okay? And then we have here 2 different thickness, not even thickness, 2 different hardness foam rollers. So we have a harder one here and a softer one here. And why we have those, and also why we have 2 different types of balls, is because you want to warm up your muscle before you go in really deep. Okay, so we're gonna start with the softer one here first off, and we're gonna start by warming up our muscle very softly and gently with this one, and then move on to the harder one, and then we can even move on to trigger pointing it with the pinky ball. And if that's not enough, if you want to go even deeper from there, you can use the lacrosse ball. Now, in the beginning, you may only need a soft foam roller. It depends on your how tight you are and your level of pain and how much you can take. Over time, you can do more and more. You can get deeper and deeper. So we're going to start with the soft one here. We're going to work on the calf, and then we're going to work our way around later on to the tibialis anterior. Okay. I have a mat here. You don't need one, but I recommend it. It's nice for your butt and your tailbone. Okay. So just position the foam roller right in the middle of your calf there, and then bring your other leg and cross it on top. Okay? Now you want to lock out your lower leg that we're going to be working on here, and lift your butt off. Now this is going to put a lot of pressure on that calf. If it's too much, keep seated, and what you can do is just lean forward into it like that. Okay? So let's lift up, for those of you who can, and we're going to just easily, gently roll ourselves forward. Okay? And then roll ourselves back. We're going to start with a small motion, just maybe 3 or 4 inches up and down the middle of the calf to warm it up. Okay? If your leg gets a little bit numb, if you feel that the circulation is being blocked or the nerves are getting pinched at all, just take a break. Just take it off, flex your foot around a little bit, and then we'll get right back into it. Okay? So once we warm it up a little bit, and you can take your time with this. We're just going to kind of blow through this and cover the basic steps. But you can take your time and do this as long as you want. If it feels good, just do it. Okay? And you can see what I'm starting to do now. I'm bending my knees, pulling it up, and then pushing all the way up. So we get a longer range here, yeah? If this hurts your wrists, you can move your arms back, and you can position yourself to put your foot over there, right over your front of your shin. Sometimes I prefer this position a little better. And you can get longer strides, longer rolls on the calf there. Okay. Good. You see how I'm also rotating my hip, and I'm getting all positions on my calf. I'm getting the medial fibers, I'm getting the lateral fibers, I'm getting the central fibers, and as you do that, you want to make sure also you get all the way up behind the knee. Okay. Good. So that's good. Switch to the other side. Right up and down the middle there. The cats are over here watching, directing. Good girls. Okay. Good. And we're just going to touch on a little bit each part. Good. My left is much tighter than my right, I feel, so I'm just going to kind of touch on each of the fibers real quick on this side. But sometimes when I do it by myself, I'll do it for minutes at a time. And because I do this more often, I use the less dense foam roller less often. So let's put that off to the side. And we're going to upgrade to the hard foam roller. Okay. Now this one, you're automatically, just right off the bat, you're going to feel more pressure in there. Yeah, it's going to get deeper. And for those of you who do this all the time, make sure to change out your foam rollers every so often. They do get kind of bent out of shape, they get used, and you need to replenish them and get new ones so you get the same pressure as when you first got them. Good. You can see the movement I'm doing here. I'm also getting a little upper body workout. And you can do anything you want with your upper body that makes sense for you, but this is just a position that I prefer and I like to do when working on myself. Okay. Good. Good. Make sure you cover all the areas there. Oh, that's real nice. Let's take the upper fibers. Yeah, that's real nice. Okay? So that's the basic movement to warm them up. In the beginning, you can do just foam rolling. That's going to cover a lot. You're going to feel really good just from that. But for someone like me who does it all the time, and I need a little bit more in-depth treatment, I'm going to come here with the pinky ball first, position it right in the center there, and just like that, lift off in a three-point position with your foot and your hands. And as you can see, I'm dorsiflexing actually to give a little bit of resistance while I do that. But in the beginning, it's a good idea just to relax it, just roll it up and down there. This may be excruciating when you first do it, but over time it will open up and feel really good. Like for me right now, this is like heaven. This is really good. When we move on to the cross ball, it's going to be a little bit of a different story. Okay, if you want to get a little bit more pressure with this ball before you move on to the next step, again, you can put a little weight on there with your opposite foot, just work on balance. You can not just roll it, but you can actually find a point and push on there and get a nice, just kind of pressure trigger, rather than rolling right over it. Good. This is especially important for people who have ankle problems, to work the area. If you can see under the main gastrocnemius muscle in the lower fibers here, more of the soleus. See here? Down in here, and the lower Achilles, where all that attaches up in here. A lot of pressure in there. It gets locked up on a lot of people. Okay? So let's move over to the other leg. Yep. And just roll it out here. All the way up. Good. And on the other side of the coin, people who have knee issues, knee problems, a lot of times it does come from the quadricep and the upper leg, but sometimes it does come from the uppermost fibers of the calf that insert up into the back of the knee. So what you want to do, I'll turn a little bit so you can see here, you want to get right up behind the knee with that. All the way up into the upper calf and up behind the knee. There's a small muscle back there called the popliteus, which is really important to keep unlocked, especially in athletes that get very inflamed. Good. A little more pressure with the other foot on top. You can even lean forward, push with your hands a little bit if you like. Okay. And make sure to get all the lateral fibers as well. Good. That's very nice. The more you do this, the more you'll get to know your body and where you need more treatment. You'll get to feel the fibers of maybe some of you are more tight on the lateral side or some just on the medial side. You'll get used to it and get to know your body a little better as we do this more often, okay? So, now this is the big daddy, moving on to the lacrosse ball. Be very gentle when easing into this, and don't skip all the other steps. Take your time, warm it up with the foam rollers in order, go with the ball, and then eventually this is going to be the last level of treatment here, okay? So, we got it positioned right there. Let's get a little more in the middle. Okay, it's a good place to start as any. And then just, yeah, you can get up in that three-point position and just roll it out. And that's intense. Good, all the way up and down. Same pattern as before. Start with the middle of the calf, and then move up to the lower and upper fibers for the rest of everything there. Oh man, that's good. So effectively, you're more or less stretching out the muscle fibers, and then after all this, we're going to do a little bit of stretch to open it up even more and solidify our gains. Because this is a lot of soft tissue work. But what we want, ideally, is to have to do less of this, because it's pretty painful. So we want to keep the fibers open, and how we do that is open up the myofascial tissue that wraps around the muscle. So if your muscle is like a big piece of meat, imagine it's wrapped in saran wrap. We got our calf here, right? Imagine there's a wrap around it, and the wrap turns into a tendon, not a tendon, rather a ligament. The ligament connects bone to muscle and vice versa. So it's going to wrap around and then attach up into the bone, and it's going to come down here and attach into the bone. Okay? So the muscle, we want to relax, beat up a little bit, loosen it up, and then the fascia, we want to lengthen because it's so much tougher, it's so much a denser fiber than your muscle that it's harder to stretch. So in doing this, we make it easier to stretch the myofascial as well as the muscle. Okay? Switch to the other side. Roll it out. Good. That's really nice. I love it. Good. If you want, lean into it a little deeper. Roll it out. You want to stay away from doing this. You don't really want to go long ways across because it's going to be too painful in the beginning. As you get more advanced, feel free to do whatever feels good. But in the beginning, try to go up and down. Feel it out. Feel where those tight muscles are. And just go for them right there. It's really nice. Good. Perfect. So like I said, this is just a demo. I'm not going to be doing it like I would be, doing my self-treatment. I might spend a much longer time on it. Good. But for now, that's it for the calves, and that alone will definitely help you a tremendous amount. Switching over to the tibialis anterior. So in the calf, you have a bunch of muscles. You got like 4 or 5 muscles that come up, and then a lot of minor muscles that wrap around the sides and support your feet, flex and extend them. In the front, you have just one main muscle called your tibialis anterior. Now, this is going to be a little easier than the other one. Maybe not in terms of pain, but it's going to be easier because we just need to do one muscle. So you can take the pinky ball and start here and find the very top, okay, of your muscle, which is going to be right around there. You find your knee, you're going to have your knee bone, the bone right underneath your knee right there, and then you're going to place it right there in that little meaty groove, okay, right between the tibia and the fibula. And we'll go this way for it so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, now I'm kind of like positioning myself like a dog about to take a pee. 3-point position on my knees and my hands. And then I'm going to roll up and down here. Just like that. And then trigger point. Hit it 1 point at a time. I find this one a little easier to do just on the floor, not the mat, because my foot can slide along the floor. You may find it easier as well. Good. Take your time with this. Your muscle might actually be so incredibly tight that you don't actually feel anything going on. So just take your time, roll it out. Take a few minutes on this. Go up and down the muscle. All the way down. And just like the calf, some of the tightest fibers are down here. Now don't go past the ankle, but just right here in the last few inches, a lot of tightness, because this muscle, it goes from being very thick up here to be more thin down here as it inserts into the ankle and the foot. Okay? Good. You can actually bring it up like this, roll it out on the front like that if you like. I find that body weight works the best because you can just relax into it. This is more strenuous on the upper body, but it's another tool in your toolbox. Okay? Let's hit the other side. Good. So that trigger point, that just, finding where the tight muscle is and leaning in on it with the ball, that's a really good strategy for people like we're just talking about who have very tight muscles and might not feel anything. It'll help break it up piece by piece. Good. Yeah, so you might be able to see my pinky ball is actually getting a little worn out. It's time for me to get a new one. Because I've used it so much, I've actually worn out its use. It's really good, but it's still useful. Good. Good. Now moving on to the lacrosse ball. Now be careful, this will really hurt if you don't warm it up. So let's get it back in there. This one's a little easier actually because as you push in, the ball doesn't go anywhere because it's so hard. Okay, so get in there really gently and easily. Right up and down the whole tibialis anterior, the whole front of the shin muscle. Now, unlike the last one, this might be easier for you because you need less pressure to put it right in between your palms there and just roll it down, just like that. And that'll soften it up, and then you can move back into the body weight position of leaning in on it. And make sure, just like I'm doing, go all the way down the shin. Stretch all those fibers out, all the way down to the ankle. Good, loosen them up. That feels really great. Good. Switch to the other side. And yeah, get in there, nice. Trigger point, just lean in on it. This is just a really fantastic exercise to do. Hi, sweetie. For people who have problems with getting deep in the squat, sometimes actually you get jammed up. When you're trying to get into a really deep squat, you can't do this because your muscle is tight and weak, and it prevents you. Even if you lengthen your calf all the way, you might not be able to get that much dorsiflexion to get that deep in a calf. Deep in the squat. And that, in fact, was the case with me until I opened it up. And now I can get super, super deep. Good. Remember, right in between the palms, rolling it down. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, it's just fantastic. I really like this one. Now, they sell a bunch of tools online, any kind of sports shop you can use, you can roll this out. As long as you're opening up the muscle, that's really what counts. It doesn't have to be limited to just the items that we're using here in this video, but you might have other kind of balls around the house that you can use. This is just what I'm using. Feel free to improvise. Just be careful of using a tennis ball, because the tennis ball tends to actually fold in on itself if they're old or if you use them too much. Okay? Well, I feel really loose, especially in the front there. That's where I was a little bit more tight. So let's follow up those, a little bit of body work we just did. Now that our muscles are loose, we're stretching out the fascia, yeah? So let's bring both our feet out in front of us. Anybody who's done high school or middle school physical education will be familiar with this one. Okay, bring both feet out in front of you. We're going to add in a little twist. You're going to pull your toes in toward you as you reach out toward them, okay? So deep breath. Exhale. Now if you can grab your toes, great. You want to pull them up toward you even more. Okay? And again. Good. Just go as far as you can. Don't hold the stretch for too long, but if you can go farther, just keep easing into it. And the whole idea here is not to see how far you can get your hands there, but how far you can get dorsiflexion, how much you can pull your calves up. Pull your toes and your foot up toward you, okay, as you come down. In the beginning, if that's a little bit difficult, or if you like to just get a little isolation on one foot, tuck in your other leg, reach out, and grab your foot there, dorsiflex, and then reach out with the other one. You can grab your forearm, you can grab your arm anywhere you want, or you can just reach out and grab both and then pull them up. Good. To the other side. And again, this is just a demonstration, but feel free to break it up. Do 5-7 repetitions. Try to get as deep as you can. And if you feel like you still want to do more, do 2 to 3 sets. There's not really any limit on this stuff. Just don't injure yourself. Go slow. Be careful. Be gentle. Good. And then yeah, let's move on to, it's a simple one. There's so many different stretches you can do for the calf. That's just one I like to do. There's plenty out there. We'll make some more videos in the future, I'm sure, covering different calf stretches. But for now, just that one's good. And for the front here, there's a few you can do. This one I like, but it doesn't really do much for me anymore because I'm really flexible there. And also keep in mind, once you reach a certain level of flexibility here, you don't really need to go any further, but the muscle can still be tight. So do all the warm-up work on it, but and then just check your range of motion. See if you can do this. If you can get your foot flat like that, that's all you need to do. You can't go any further. That's pretty much all you need to do. You can also check it by doing this, pulling your toes up. Also, you can roll out. Use your palm, push on your pinky toe, and then pull it up. Get a little roll that way, and then the opposite. Roll it out to this other side. That's going to make sure you get all the tibialis anterior fibers. Okay. And the other side. How are we doing there? That's pretty good. Yeah, I'm not feeling much difference. I think they're both pretty loose. Good. Good. And good. Okay. For a bonus, let's hit the feet a little bit. Okay. So the feet, they're pretty meaty. There's a lot of different points on here that are great for triggering, but let's focus just mainly on the main arch and the point in between the ball of your foot and the heel of your foot and the outside knuckle of your pinky and here. So just all in this region right here we're going to touch on. So just in this position you can sit on, we have a couch, you can sit in a couch, you can sit in a chair and just roll out the bottom of your foot. Just like that, kind of up and down, going up and down toward, imagine each one of your toes, and then spend more time on your big toe, especially in the last half. Good. I'm just doing a quick little warm-up because it's, my ball's getting a little worn out here, and I'm quite used to this one, so let's put that one aside. And go back to the lacrosse ball. And here immediately, wow, I really feel that. That's a lot. And be gentle just like in everything else. Take your time. Go a little faster if you like. Good. Be careful not to go too hard because unlike other muscles, you actually have to walk on these all day, every day, I'm sure. So just be careful. Good. Good. Unlike the calf, here I would actually recommend go a little bit sideways, kind of on like an arch. Go through the muscles after you've gone forward and back. Good. Switch the other side. Good. Good. Go a little faster, a little slower, whatever you feel. And if that's too easy for you, feel free to go back to that 3-point position here. Get a little more weight on there. Make sure you have control. That's really good. Nice. This can actually help you with your arch. It can help restore your arch. All of this kind of work. Sometimes tight arches or collapsed arches are due to muscular tightness, right? And loosening all that up will help improve your arch. Okay. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Hope it helps and good luck. See you soon. Take care. Bye.